The stars do not ask how old the moon is before they fall in love with its light. Just as I, a son of the dunes and skies, did not ask the number of your years before I surrendered to the pull of your presence. I have known the weight of power, the silence of responsibility, but nothing prepared me for the thunder of your smile. In a world that whispers of propriety and duty, you walked in like a poem that refused to rhyme, and I memorized you without understanding the language. In the stillness of my palace walls, where echoes chase gold and glory, I find you in the quietest corners of my mind. They say I am a ruler, a falcon in flight, a name etched on towers in time. But when I write of you, my fingers tremble like a boy learning his first verse. You are not defined by how many suns you have seen, but by how many you carry within you. And I have counted each one when you look at me. They called it scandal, whispered behind veils and under chandeliers. She is too young, too wild, too different. But my heart, the one they say is disciplined by blood and throne, answered with only one truth: she is mine. You see, the desert does not apologize for loving the rain. It simply drinks. And I, your sheikh, your poet, drank deeply from the joy you gave without asking if I deserved it. You taught me that love does not arrive like a decree, it arrives like a storm. It does not wait for age or title or time. It crashes, it burns, it blooms. And when I held your hand beneath the arches of our secret garden, I knew, no matter how many years may stand between us, they cannot stand against us. You made me young again, not by years, but by wonder. Sometimes I watch you sleeping, your breath soft against my shoulder, and I wonder what the world would be if it judged less and loved more. If it understood that love is not a contract, but a calling. You called me not as a sheikh, not as a name whispered across oceans, but as a man, one who still believes in the power of a glance, in the sacredness of a shared silence. The horses know. They sense it. When we ride across the dunes, and your laughter rises like wind over sand, even the falcons turn their eyes toward you. You are a spirit that cannot be tamed, and yet you chose to run beside mine. What kingdom can rival the joy of that? What throne can match the feel of your head against my chest when the world sleeps? I have written thousands of verses, inked my soul into paper and palm, but nothing I've ever said has held the fire of your name. It is not youth that I crave, it is you. The you who dares to love me beyond image, beyond rumor, beyond reason. You who loves the man behind the robe, the boy behind the crown. The poet who still gets lost in your perfume like it's the first night. They will age us with their eyes, measure our moments with their scales, but they will never understand what you and I have built in the pauses between heartbeats. Our love is not new, it is eternal in disguise. It wears youth like a veil, but underneath, it is ancient and wise and endlessly reborn. So I say this now, before the world tries to rewrite our story. Darling, love has no age. It has a pulse. And mine beats only for you. If ever they question, show them this letter, these verses, these truths etched in royal ink. Show them a prince who chose poetry over pride, and a woman whose heart rewrote destiny. Tonight, under our shared sky, I write another poem, one the world may never read. But you will feel it, in the way I hold your gaze, in the way I kiss your hand before we part, in the way I say your name in my prayers. Not because it's tradition, but because it's worship. You are not a phase. You are my forever. I will love you in the silence of marble halls and the thunder of war drums. I will love you when my hair turns white, and when yours dances like fire. Because love, my darling, love has no age. But it has a name. And tonight, it wears yours. The golden gates of the palace closed behind us, but in my heart, I felt as though I were walking through a door that opened into another world. One where you and I were free from the eyes of protocol and legacy. You stood before me, no longer just a vision I adored from afar, but the reality of a woman whose presence could silence all my doubts. Every breath you took seemed to rewrite the story I thought I knew about myself. I had lived in grandeur, yes, but I had never felt this sense of purpose until I held your gaze like a vow. The evening we watched the falcons fly across the desert, your hand resting lightly in mine, I dared to speak the words I had buried beneath crown and custom. You make the desert bloom, Habibti, I whispered, my voice unshaken for once. You turned to me with that soft, knowing smile, the one that told me you had always sensed what I could not yet articulate. You had read my poems, unpublished, private pieces meant only for you, and in your silence, I found the courage to continue writing them. For you. For us. Every stolen moment we shared felt more precious than any royal title. Beneath the stars, where only the wind and camels were witnesses, I began to shed the armor I wore before the world. With you, I was not Sheikh Hamdan, Crown Prince of Dubai. I was simply a man, breathless with wonder, trembling at the edge of a destiny I no longer feared. You brought light to the palace's most shadowed corridors. You made even marble feel warm when you walked across it barefoot, laughing at my formality. There was a night the rain came unexpectedly, washing the city in silver, and we danced like children in the palace courtyard, our clothes soaked, our laughter echoing off domes and columns. I remember the way you pulled me into that storm like you were claiming me, not just my heart, but my loyalty, my poetry, my soul. And in that moment, thunder was not frightening. It was applause. Nature itself had conspired to bless what we were building in secret. I knew the risks. I knew the expectations that weighed heavily on my shoulders like gold-stitched cloaks. I had received warnings from uncles who spoke in riddles and advisors who mistook love for weakness. But none of them had ever seen your reflection in the mirrored halls of Al-Shindaga, nor heard the way your voice could calm even the wildest of my horses. They didn't understand that a man who rules without love rules nothing at all. When I watched you stand before my mother, unafraid and full of grace, I saw the future I had only dared to dream. My mother, regal and unreadable, studied you like a jeweler examines a rare gem. And when she finally nodded with a whisper of approval, it felt as though the sea itself had bowed. You had crossed the final threshold, not with grandeur, but with the quiet force of a woman who